Hello and welcome back to Badger Lodge Garage, and welcome back to the Reliant Supervan 3. In this video I'd just like to start by saying thank you to everyone who's subscribed. At the time of recording this there's about 525 of you that have subscribed to the channel, which is still quite amazing to me. And that doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but to me that's quite a lot, so thank you very much. And thank you for commenting and liking and doing all that good stuff underneath. We've got a brilliant comment section that people are always willing to give information and be nice to one another. It's a rare thing, you know, and with that in mind as well, thank you for your suggestions for videos. And I've been taking notes, so you know, don't fear. I'm wondering what the wind's doing to my microphone at this point, so excuse the shield thing. No, that's something else. But in all seriousness, I have been taking notes of who's been coming up with ideas for videos, and I haven't forgotten them and I've written them down, so they will be coming up. It's just how to do them sometimes and getting the time to do them. So I can apologise for not having a regular upload schedule, but unfortunately real life does get in the way, quite a lot it turns out. So yeah, I'm trying to escape real life, don't worry. I'll try and get out of it. I really want to. I haven't got there yet. So until then, we'll just have to keep doing as we're doing. So thank you for your patience in waiting for long gaps between videos. It's just is what it is. Now early on in the channel, I did quite a long driving video of this thing, showing what it's actually like to sort of drive one and be in one. I never really did a walk around of it. And I said at the time that it would be something that I'd like to do, and that video was quite popular, so I thought I'd go and do another one on this, because we never really had a look around the van itself. There was bits and pieces and there was a lot of driving footage, but I never actually showed you it as it is. That's yeah, slightly mouldy grey piece of fiberglass. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's have a look. So for those of you who are new to the channel, you might not have seen this one yet. It's my 1969 Reliant Supervan 3. Now this is the predecessor to the Robin. Everyone knows the Robin. This came before it. It's known sometimes as the Reliant Regal Supervan 3, because the saloon model that it was sort of based on it's called the Regal. It's got the same front end with a car-like back end. So a lot of people choose to call it the Reliant Regal Supervan 3. Entirely fiberglass body with a very basic frame underneath. 4-speed manual gearbox, Reliant's own all aluminium 4-cylinder petrol engine, and a live rear axle. That is it. It's as basic as a car can get, and even more basic because it's only got one wheel at the front. And if you've ever wondered what the front of one of these looks like underneath, it is, well, it's just an A-frame. Front wheel bolts on how a normal car would. It's just a front drum brake. Steering box has got a leak all of a sudden. That wasn't there. Something else. Great. And my nice new drag link's gone rusty already. Deep joy. Anyway, that's what it is. Single spring A-frame, and it's just the wheels just like a standard car wheel. There's nothing funky going on, and then you got this funny lever arm set up to steer it with, straight off the steering box. Well, there's always something starts leaking. Unbelievable. And continuing with the theme of leaky things, underneath you got the engine, the square bit at the front's the sump. Going back to the gearbox, which is, yep, I think it's sealed itself up with its own leak. That's the clutch linkage arm, by the way. It goes up to the pedals, which are further front than the engine. And then going back, got a little piddly prop shaft, and then the other bit that leaks, which is the rear diff. And that's yeah, that's also resealed itself because of the years of leakage. It's yeah, it's currently full of the thickest Lucas oil treatment I could find, because the crown wheel and pinion is ruined and I still haven't done anything about it. and that's the brake master cylinder. So lifting the bonnet, I suppose, or sort of more of a engine flap, you can see the beautiful paintwork. All the wind's blowing it over, and how much effort I went to when I painted it grey. The goal really was to make it look slightly less worse than it did, and I definitely achieved that. So when you open the flap bonnet thing, hood, you're greeted immediately with the heater matrix with the blower on top, and the radiator sits directly behind that, and underneath the heater box is sort of the air scoop for the radiator, if you like. It comes from the front grille. And then nestled almost under the dashboard is the engine itself. This is a 700cc Reliant's own all aluminium engine. They were one of the first people to sort of mass produce an all aluminium engine, which is they're sort of quite forgotten about, and it's a very nice little unit. And this is the 700. A lot of them have been converted to the 850 by now. This one is still going. This van is actually on its second engine. This is the one that I bought it with. It was in it. It's very high mileage, this van. It's had a hard life. All this wiring up here are the switches directly on the back of the dashboard. They just stick through. So as you can see, it's all there. The manual washer pump, it's like a water pistol. Can't really see a lot. Distributor's wedged right down there. You just about see it. And the fuel pump's down underneath that. It has got a priming lever on it, but you can barely reach it. That was new. I just bought that off the internet. And you can see the black plastic cover with the screws sticking through it. That's one of the rear engine covers. You can get them from the inside. Professional installation by the looks of it. I should also point out that if I put this in for an MOT tomorrow, apart from possibly that new steering box leak, it would pass an MOT. There's everything that works needs to work. It's got brand new brakes all round, and that's everything. That's wheel cylinders, shoes and lines and master cylinder, the whole lot, because it was all completely shot. The chassis is nice and solid, and everything works that's meant to. It's not going to part company and fall to bits, and that's a key point when owning these MOT exempt vehicles. You have to keep them road legal. You can't just drag any old crap out of a hedge and drive it on the road, because you might be alright wrapping yourself around a tree, but if you go careering off and take out someone's relative, child, grandparent, that's on you. And that's, personally, I couldn't live with that on my conscience, and I'd like to think nobody else could, but people do silly things. So going around the back, and the nice big swing door. Oh, the wind's getting up now. See in the back? No, I haven't cleaned it, because that's what it does. It's a working van. It's not some kind of show vehicle. Again, more of the fabulous orange paint that it did have. Fairly decent boot space, spare wheel, fire extinguisher. That's important, especially in a fiberglass car like this. They burn well. If you Google one of these on fire, it's quite impressive. Yeah, it's got quite a decent load space in these. You can get quite a bit in. In fact, I've managed to get some things longer in than you get in the back of a Land Rover, because you just go straight over the front. Surprisingly practical, again, with the roof rack. Very useful feature. Then underneath, you've got the fuel tank at the back. Just leaf sprung rear suspension. Just about see the rear axle again. The exhaust. Really basically standard stuff going on. Nothing funky. No two-stroke weirdness or engines that pivot. It's all just a standard car underneath. And going in this door, that, as you can see, works really well, you can then find things that I still haven't done yet. You see the point that I ran out of paint. I hadn't finished the inside of the doors yet, and I still haven't bought any more. 2 years it's been, still haven't done it. Door cards as well. I've actually made them. I just haven't bonded the or glued the covers to them. You know, the black stuff. That's all it needs, and I can put them in. This window works. Yeah, hinges, haven't painted any of that, you know, because I'm a professional. And then we've got the exclusive executive dashboard with veneer, wood. Again, standard 3 pedals, clutch, brake, and go. Under this carpet are access hatches that you can get to the engine from. This is all just to deaden the sound, which doesn't do a great deal. Then we've got the speedo. The sum total of the gauges, this is the 21, or was the 21E model. Now, if you don't know what that means, it just simply means 21 extras. So it had 21 extra features, and 2 of those were an ammeter and a oil pressure gauge. Standard card just came with a centre cluster with a fuel and temperature gauge. 16,972 miles, that's completely wrong because this has definitely got a different speedo from where it first came out the factory. Somebody actually pointed out that to me on a video, that it should have a silver bezel like to match the gauges on a 21E. So it's done so many miles that the speedo stopped working, and I can, yeah, it's, you know, she's had hard life, this thing. Second engine and all that. Steering is very tight on this, it's nice. You can feel that front wheel, it does exactly what you want to. There's no free play, that's moving the wheel doing that. It's really nice. Snappy little 4-speed gearbox. No synchro on first, but synchro on first, second, third and fourth. You don't need synchro on first really, it just sometimes crunches a little bit, but usually you've stopped almost by the time you put it in. So that's not a problem. Cup holders, added them because, you know, it's the 21st century. And I'm an animal like that. And the gauges, choke on the far end, heater, wipers, 1 speed, washer like a water pistol, pump it up and eventually some juice comes out, and then side and headlights. That's it, that's your lot. These 2 over here, this one's the indicators, which seems to confuse a lot of people sometimes. It's like a standard indicator on your car. You know, they go up and down on this side normally, don't they? Whereas this one, it pokes out the dashboard and it goes up and down on the right hand side like British cars of the time. It just doesn't come out of that. A lot of people seem to flip them round and go this way, which is just I don't get it. Is that a motorcyclist thing? Maybe? Yeah, I suppose it is on the handlebar. I don't know. Anyway, and that's the interior light. That wasn't originally there. It had 2 extra switches for fog lights because it was 21. It had fog lights on the front, but I filled in one of the holes and just used one to flick the interior light switch, because otherwise you have to use the fitting itself. And this is all crispy and mankin, just about to fall to bits. So I thought we won't do that. Other door, again, similar situation. This one's worser because it doesn't go up and down. The window is seized in position. It's held there by magic and rust, I think. And I haven't dared touch it because as soon as it comes down, it's not going back up again, because the bottom runner for the glass is gone. It's turned back to nature. So, yeah, that's not happening. Single open glove box where you can keep your stuff. And, yeah, you look back into the rear. Comprehensive vehicle, this. The floors are fiberglass again. They just sort of sit on not a great deal. They're fairly flexible, but they've sort of firm themselves up eventually. The gear lever goes too far that way, so that's nothing. That is literally between reverse and first. It doesn't do anything, so you sort of have to hold it up in the middle and knock it forward. First, there you go, that's first there. You sort of, it's one of those things you get used to. It's because the selectors on the top of the box have worn away, so it just lets it go too far over. It used to be really annoying. I don't even think about it anymore. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And again, handbrake. Really. Nothing exciting going on, nothing fancy. The most basic form of motoring. So there you have it, a slightly more in-depth look at this Reliant Supervan 3. And again, thank you very much for subscribing to the channel, and apologies that I can't get videos out any quicker than I can. Hopefully I will be able to soon, but we'll keep working on that. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.